Okay, so hi and welcome. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, and you do you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. So how are you?
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Fine. Same old. How
Yeah,
are you?
yeah, I am fine. Thank you. Okay, so basically today we will complete our second day's online training program. So basically today I will try to discuss about the some R data frame. Okay, so how we can easily make the different types of data frame and work in R programming language. Okay, so after the
Yes.
completing the R data frame, basically there's a lot of way for creating the data frame in R programming language. So all of those technique when you want to learn, and basically when you are ready to your data, then you can easily work with the machine learning or deep learning with R programming language. Okay, so first of all we discuss
Oh,
about the R data frame and all of those technique about the R data frame, then try to show you that all of those things for the practically, such as how we can easily use this type of data frame and make the different types of machine learning analysis. Okay, so
okay,
let's
but
go.
as
Yeah.
a previous class,
Yeah. So
we
previous class,
couldn't to
Google Earth
connect.
Engine is not connected with the server of Earth Engine platform. So that's why I also talk about the some expertise about that. And as soon as possible, I will get the solution. Then I also take the reclass about the Google Earth Engine with R Studio program. Then it is so better. Okay.
Okay.
So first time in this time, they
Okay.
also add some update system. Their cloud service or Google Cloud service. So that's the time. In this time, it's not installed. But further, I also try to find out the solution and connect with the R Studio for making the Google Earth
Oh,
Engine
okay.
analysis. Okay, so then we also take the class for the Google Earth Engine with Art Studio again. Okay, so
Okay.
let's go. I just simply share my screen. Now, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's share. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so basically today I talk about the data frame in R Studio, how we can easily make the data frame in our studio and discuss about that all of those things such as how we can easily create the data frame, then introduction to the data frame, then what is the metrics and data frame operation, data frame manipulation, then joining of data frame, the factors issues in data frame, data reshaping, as well as also you can see the creating the data frame from vector, data warning, all of those technique today I will also try to discuss in this session. So I hope after completing that you can easily understand about the data frame. Okay, so for that, first of all, data frame. Okay, data frame, what is the data frame? So basically you can see it is a data. Okay, so basically in the data frame has the column. Okay, you can see the column, name column, team column, number column, position column, and age column. Okay, as well as we can also get the some row. You can see the row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's called the data frame. Okay, basically we can easily get the data frame from the Excel file, as well as we can also input the data frame and also create the data frame in R Studio. Okay, in this time you can see this is the data frame, has the column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 column and total 6 row. In this time total 7 row. Okay, you can get in here. So it's called the data frame. Okay, so basically when you want to
This
work, yeah, please.
this we can call this as a table.
As a table, tabular table, yeah. So basically data frame is called the tabular table. In this table all of those information as very clearly, and we can get the data in here. Okay, so it's also called the
Okay.
tabular table as a data frame. In R Studio we can easily create this type of tabular table, and we are also importing the CSV file format and also make the different types of analysis in R Studio program. Okay, so let's go about that how we can easily create the data frame. So first of all, creating the data frame in our programming language, how we can easily create the data frame in R Studio program. In this time I talk about that. So first of all, we have to know about a function, this function called the data frame. Okay, so this function we need to use when you want to create the data frame. We have to need to use the about this function. Okay, data frame, it is a function. So in this time you can see it's a data it's also called the data table and also data frame. Okay, in this column we can get the role, we can get the name, we can get the age. Okay, these are 3 column and total 5 row. Okay, so in this time suppose I want to create this type of data frame in our studio. So how I can do that? I need to use the data frame function. Okay, so let's go practically how we can create the data frame in R Studio. Just I simply open my this is my R Studio. I already open in here. So first of all, I need to create the data frame. So for that, first of all, I suppose I can take a variable name. You can put any variable name. Suppose I put the variable name is that. Suppose student data. Okay, I put the variable name as the student data. So in this variable I store my data frame. Okay, so for that I use a function, this function called the data frame. Okay, so basically this data frame function we are used to create the data frame. Okay, in this time I need to define all of those ID, all of those column. Suppose first of all I show a column, this column name is that suppose role. Okay, so in this time I use at the role mainly. Suppose I have the total 5 student, so just I simply use at the 1 to 5. In this time this C mainly were used for creating the vector. Okay, so basically in the data type we can get the number data type, vector data type, list. Okay, so basically in this time in the data frame I need to create the vector. So 1 to 5 I create the vector and vector sample is C. Okay, suppose that the total 5 student, so I just simply use at the 1, it is the initial, and 5 is that in part. Okay, so it's done. After that I just simply take the another column name. Suppose I put this column name is that suppose student name. Okay, so in the student name I just simply create the another vector. So for that I use the C, and suppose I put the student name such as, suppose put here that such as Mijan, then also put the total 5 student name, because here I included the 1 to 5. Okay, suppose then I put here this another name is that, suppose I put the another name, suppose I put the another name is that. Okay, so here I total put, here I put the total 5 name. Okay, in this time I need to use another function, this function called that string as factor. Okay, so string as factor I need to use here the false. Okay, false, and then I just simply print my variable name. Suppose I simply use the print and simply copy the variable name from here, student data. I copy it and just simply select all of those things and click to the run. In this time you can see it generate a data frame. Okay, so here I can get the role is that one kind of column, and student name it is the another column name. So and we can get the total 2 column, role and student name, and we are also get the some row. Okay, total 5 row, we can generate in here. Okay, so this is the process when you want to create the data frame. Basically tabular data has row and ID. Suppose you want to add the another column also in here. So for that what can you do? Just simply put the column name. Suppose I put the column name is that suppose CGPA. Okay, I put the column in CGPA. In this column name I just simply take the vector, so use at the C and mention about that suppose A plus and suppose put here the A, suppose put here the A minus, suppose put here the B, some grade I simply mention in here. Suppose I put here this A. Okay, so here you can see I take the total 1 2 3 4 5. So now I run the code again. In this time you can see another column CGPA is also added in my list in here. I need to use the comma sign in here. Okay, so then click to the run again. Click not interpret as a factor. Okay, so okay, now click to the again. Okay, just I say put here this suppose 5.00 CGPA as is, then put here the 4.98. Suppose put here the 3.99. Put here suppose 4.00. So now I click to the run again. Okay, so it is a lowercase. Yeah. So it is a lowercase c. I need to put, and now click to the run again. Okay, so now you can see it will be work. So here I can get the total 3 column, role, student name, and I also get the CGPA about that. Okay, so this is the process when you want to create the data frame. And using the data frame, we can easily use the different types of analysis. So basically, when you want to work with for the big data analysis or the lot of data set is integrated in a CSV file format or Excel file, so then we can easily import also CSV file or Excel file and work with for the lot of things. So step by step, I try to show you all of those things. So I simply go to my slide. So now we can simply use the data frame function and create this type of tabular data in our studio.
Okay.
So now I talk about the gate. Yeah, please.
If we want to work with already prepared table, we have data in CV.
So for that we have to import the CSV file format. So I'll just show you that one by one. Suppose your data is already ready in Excel file. So first of all, you need to convert this Excel file into CSV file format. Then we can easily access the CSV file in our studio and work with that. Okay. So now we talk about the structure of the R data. Suppose what is the structure of the R data? So mainly the structure of the R data, we need to use a function str. So basically this function provide you the display the result of the internal structure of the large list which are nested. It provides one linear output of the basic R object learning. The users know about the object and its constituent. So for that you can see in this time. So in this time when I use that, then I can easily find out about the structure of the data frame or structure of the table of the data. So let's go about that, how we can easily use the str function. So for that it's very easy. Just I simply open my code editor, str. So just I simply use a function in here, str. So basically it provides the structure of the data frame. We can get about the all of those construction of this function, how it will be work, how many object in here. So all of this information I can get when I use the str function. So just click to the run. In this time here I can get data frame. Here I can get total 5 object. Okay, and of 3 variable. I can get total 5 object, total 3 variable. So basically you can see here I can get total 5 object or 5 object means that total 5 information. So you can see total 5 name, total 5 ID or role or total 5 CGPA. Okay, so here I can get total 5 object. It means that here I can get the total 5 information. And here you can see total 3 variable. 3 variable means that one variable is the role, one variable is the student name, and another variable is the CGPA. Total 3 variable. And here I can get the integer. Role, this data type is the integer, int. It is the integer. So it will be start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and student name, it's mainly the character. So group of character, here you can find out the name is the mainly character. So here I can get all of this character name. And CGPA, you can see CGPA. So basically it is a number. Okay, it is a number, NUM number. So str function, so mainly this function were used to get all of those information for my dataset table or data frame. Okay,
Okay.
so we can get the information about the str, then we can get about the all of this information about the data frame. Okay, so now we talk about the
Okay.
another function. So I simply open my slide. So now we talk about the summary. Suppose you want to calculate the summary. Summary mainly it is the statistical summary, and nature of the data can be obtained applying the summary function. Suppose when I use the summary function, then I can easily get about that all of those information, such as in my data frame, what is the minimum value, what is the median value, what is the mean value, what is the third quadrant value, what is the maximum value. All of those things I can
Okay.
easily get when I use the summary. Suppose in this time
Okay.
I just simply open my code, and just I simply suppose I simply print. So use at the print, just use at the print function and call my this my data frame table or store it in this variable. I simply copy that and paste. Okay, so after that simply use a function, this function called the summary. Okay, this summary function provide you all of those information about your data set, mean, median, mode,
Okay.
all of those things can get. So click to the run. In this time here I can get is that, so mean, role, student name, and also the CGPA. So here I can get the minimum CGPA is the 3.2. First quadrant we can get this result. Median is that, mean is that, third quadrant, first quadrant can get, and also get the maximum. Okay, suppose you can import a CSV file format or also imported the any data, any tabular data, you can import it in your data in RStudio. So now you want to find out all of this information, what is the minimum, what is the first quadratic value, what is the medium, what is the mean, what is the third quadratic value, what is the maximum quadratic value. Then simply use the summary function. This summary function provide you all of those information at the same time. Okay, so now we discuss about the another function. So str function give you the information about your tabular table, and summary function give you the information about the statistical purpose. It calculated the mean, median, mode, or also calculated the first quadrant, third quadrant, it will be calculated. Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
If we have for example, separate classes,
yeah.
how we can get separately this information? For example, summary for example, for each class of land use, land cover, we can get this information.
Yeah, we can also get that. So for that, we have also need to separate the data set. Suppose I just simply
Okay.
separate
Yeah.
the one column. Okay, I used to show you the one by one. Just a minute. So in this time,
Okay.
suppose you
Okay.
want to work only for the CGPA. So for that, this column you have to need to separate and then analysis on
Okay.
here. Okay. So let's.
Okay. This is a call separate function.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after the summary, we talk about that extract data from the data frame. Suppose in this time you want to extracting the data, any data, it can be anything, any column. You need to separate from a data frame. Data frame, it is the tabular. In this data frame, include all of those columns. Okay, but when you want to extract only for the specific column, suppose I need to extract only for the S column, I need to extract only for the CGPA column. Okay, so for that we need to use the another function, data. In this time, suppose in this time it's showing only for the name. Okay, only for the showing about
Okay.
that name column. Okay, so for this technique in Google in RStudio, we can easily extract the information about the R. Suppose I want to extract only for the one single column. Okay, so for that,
Yes.
so I simply open my RStudio. So in this time, suppose I just extract the one column. So here I get total 3 column, but I want to extract only for the 1 column. So how I can do that? So very easy. Just I simply take a variable. Suppose I simply put the variable name is the CGPA uh, extract. You can use any variable name. I put the variable CGPA extract. So in this variable, I just simply store it. I simply use the data frame function again. So data frame. Okay, in this data frame I just take only for the 1 column. Okay, so in this time this is my final data frame. You can see basically the 3 column role, student and CGPA is stored in this variable student data. Just I simply copy my final tabular sheet and paste here, and from here I just simply select my data. So further I simply use this dollar sign in here, and then simply mention my column name. You can see when I put the dollar sign, it automatically extract all of those single column name. So which column you want to need to the extract? Suppose I need to extract the CGPA. Just simply click on the CGPA. So now it will be add in here. So now show the result. So just I simply run the code and then simply print this result. So use here the print function, print, and then simply copy the variable name and paste here and click to the run. So now it's showing only for the single column, you can see. Okay, so now I can get only for the CGPA.
Okay.
About that. So now suppose in this time from this CGPA you want to find out all of this information, just use at the summary function. So use at the summary. Summary, and then simply use at the close the parenthesis, and now click to the run. So now I can get only for this single column CGPA. In this single column I can get the summary. Summary, it mainly calculated the minimum, maximum, minimum, median, first quadrant, third quadrant value from this data set. Okay.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
So now I simply go to my next slide. In this time I set all of those example with a small data set, but it also very helpful when you want to work with for the big data set. There are the lot of column, there are the lot of row, lot of information in a Excel file or CSV file. Then using this same technique we can easily handle our data set and also get the summary. We can easily get the information, lot of things we can easily do. Okay, so now I simply go to my next slide.
And we can create some plots.
Yeah, we can also plot. Okay, so basically visualization or graph visualization, we have the another online another class only for the graph visualization.
Oh, okay.
So mainly you can see the different research paper there at the beautiful graph representation. So this type of graph how we can easily build in RStudio. So that's why I also take the another only for the another technique on another training, another class on this training. So that's why it also helps you for the showing about that result. Okay.
Okay.
So now we talk about the expand data frame. Okay, so expand data frame in R language. So a data frame in R can be expanded by adding a new column or rows to already existing in R data frame. Okay, suppose in this time you want to add a new column or you want to add a new data frame. Okay, a data frame in R can be expanded by adding a new column. You can add the new column. Suppose in this time I want to add in my data set, I want to add a new column, or you want to add a new row. Okay, so in this time, suppose in this time I want to show the practical example also better. Just I simply open my RStudio. Suppose in this time here I can get my data set look like that, you can see. So in this time I just simply print my data set. Okay, just I simply print. I just print this student data. Okay, this tabular data I simply print and click to the run. So here I can get this data set. In this data set, in this data frame, now I want to add a new column. Suppose I want to add a new column for city. Suppose Mizan, where the city, Marjia, where the city, Minas, where the city. So all of those things I want to add it the city. Okay, so in this time, in this data frame, this is my data frame. This data frame, I want to add a new column. This column name is city. Okay, so how I can do that? So for that, spending data frame, so I show you that the process. It's also called the spending. I can expand the data frame by column or rows. In this time, I want to add a column in here in this data set. So for that, I just simply, first of all, I need to call my data set. So my data set name is that student data. Okay, so it's my data set name. So student data, in this student data, I want to add a new column. This column name is that, suppose I want to add the new column, I put this column name such as, suppose, city. Okay, you can use any name. I want to create a new column in this student data. Student data mainly is the tabular data. In this tabular data, I want to add a new column. This column name is the city. Okay, so now I just simply use this variable look like that, and now I take a vector, and now I simply put all of the cities, such as I put here the city name or new column information such as Dhaka, then put here the another city, suppose Rajshahi, Rangpur, suppose put here that Khulna, suppose put here the Bogura, or location or city. So in this time, this is my student data. It is a tabular data. In this tabular data, I added a new column. This column name is the city. Okay, and
New
then
column.
new column name, new column city, and now I add all of the cities name in here. Okay, so now what can I do? Just I simply take a variable. Suppose I put the variable name is that, suppose final data. You can use any variable name, final data. I just store the result. I simply copy these things from here, simply copy it and paste. Okay, so now I click to the run and simply click to the run and also run it, and now finally print this. So I simply use the print this final data. So now print that. In this time here you can see it will be added Dhaka, Rajshahi, Rangpur, but this result is not showing the properly as a tabular data. Okay, but I need to create the data as a tabular data. So that's why when I use this, it's showing as a tabular data. So for showing the tabular data, I need to use a function, this function called the data frame again.
Okay.
Okay, so for that, I simply use that. So now I simply click to the run again. And final data is stored in here, city. And okay, just I simply copy my final data. So this is our data set. I simply copy again and paste here. Okay, so then click to run, and then print it. Copy and paste and print. Okay, I can get this all of this row, but in this time I want to, in this data set, just I want to add a new column name expanding for the data. Just I simply call the data set variable name and use here this sign dollar symbol and put here this thing is the location. So I put the city. There is no problem. You can use any variable name city, and then I simply put all of the city's name in here. Okay, so after that I simply take this final data, and now okay, in this time we don't need, in this time I already discussed about that. So in this time I simply remove that. I click to the run again. Okay, now print that. Yeah, so what happened? Okay, just I simply run that again, and it will be stored in here, and click to the run. Yeah, So now you can see it's showing the perfect result about that. So just in this time,
Yes.
so it's showing the another new column. Okay, in this column added the all of those cities which I add in here. So this is the process. I again explain again. So first of all, I just simply create this data frame, click to the run. Here I can get the data frame look like that. In this data frame, I want to add a new column. This column name I put the city. Suppose you can put the column name as the location. Suppose put it at the location. So in this time, location. So in this time, this column created as a new column. This name is that location. I put all of those location in here. Okay. So now you can see what happened. I click to
Okay.
the run the code, and also this say I simply stored it in the final data and click to the run. In this time, you can see what happened. It's showing the location. Okay.
Okay.
So I can edit the new.
Uh,
Yeah. Please.
if we want to expand like not a column, row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we can also expand the row also. So for that, what can we do? Suppose in this time I want to expanding a row. So for that, I can simply add the information about the row column name. Okay, before that, I simply go to my slide. Just a minute, show the next topic. Yeah. So it's showing about only for the column. Suppose how we can easily add the new column. So not only for that, any column. Suppose you want to add the more column, same approach. You can simply apply the same approach. It will be added. So now suppose I want to remove the rows and column from my data frame. Suppose I want
Okay.
to remove the row or column in my data set. So how I can do? So for that, okay, so let's go. Suppose here I can get my data frame look like that. So in this time from here, I want to remove the one column or one row. How I can do that? So a data frame in R, remove the columns and row from the already existing in other data frame. Suppose in this time, I create the data frame look like that. Okay, so it is a final data set. It's look like that. So from the final data frame, I want to remove suppose one row, okay, or one column I want to remove from here. For that, we need to import it a library. So this library called
Oh.
the deep layer library. Okay, so mainly in this time we need to use the function subset function and select function. These two function is stored in a library. This library called that deep layer library. So for simply use at the library function and put here the library name. This library name is the dplyr. Okay, I click to the run. It will be, you can see successfully. There is no problem because it's already installed. Okay, when it's not installed, then I can get some error in here. But in this time, it already installed. There is no problem. So that's why I can easily use that the diff layer function and use the two functions, subset and also for that select function. Okay. So in this time,
If we need to install it, we only write install this function. Yes.
yeah, so it already installed it, but sometimes when you face the problem, then click on the package. You can see package. Click on the package, and now you can see install it. Install our package. Click on here,
Oh, okay.
and then simply you can see simply put the package name dplyr.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then
Okay.
simply install it. So now it install
Okay.
it. Okay, so yeah, so I install it again. Yeah, so now you can see it will be restarting and again installing this library automatically. Just which package you want to need, simply install. Look like this. Simply write this package name. It will be installed. Okay, it working. Okay, it install it. Yeah. So now I simply import the again. So library, and then simply call the package name, and then click to the run. You can see it will be install it. Okay, there is no problem. Okay, so now I want to work with that a data set. Suppose okay, so just I simply print the data set again. So print the final data, final data, show the result. I can get the data frame look like that. In this data frame, I want to remove the column and also remove the rows. Any specific column or any specific rows, how I can remove. Okay, So for remove, suppose I also write the comment for remove the remove a row. Suppose I want to remove a row with role. Suppose I want to remove the role. Suppose this three number of row, which role is 3, I want to remove the all of this information from here, from
Okay.
this row. So for that, how what can I do? Just I simply use a function, this function called the subset. Okay, so take a variable, suppose I put the variable on data. In this variable I just simply use a function subset. In the subset, then call the data frame name, it's the final data, simply copy from here final data and paste. Okay, and in this time I set equal to role, you can see the role. Okay, so put here the role. In this time I put here this not equal. Okay, so not equal, how I can select the not equal? Exclamatory sign and equal, it means the not equal. Okay, I put the not equal, roll number is that suppose 3. Okay, so now what happened, you can see, just I simply click to the run and also print it. So print the data, so simply copy and click to the run. Okay, in this time you can see there is a no data about the roll number
Yes.
3. Okay, it will be removed. Suppose I want to remove the roll number of 5. So use here the not equal 5 and run this code and also click to the run. Okay, in this time you can see 5 number row is removed. Okay, so in this time
Yes.
subset function come from this package dflyr. Okay, this package provide the subset function. Without importing this package, when I want to try to run this code, I face the problem. Okay, it will be not running.
Okay.
Okay, so for that I need to import this library, then put here the subset function, and then
For
subset function remove the specific row information. Yeah, please.
yes, for all functions what we want to use, we need to import the library. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, suppose when I
Yeah.
do for the support vector machine or this type of machine learning, you also need to import it the another types of library, then we can easily work
Okay.
with this library and do our analysis. Okay, so this is the one
Okay,
library
understand. Thanks.
dflyr. Okay, and also suppose I want to remove a column. Okay, remove the, suppose I want to remove the, suppose I want to remove the location column. So location, remove the location column. Okay, so here I can get the location also, you can see location. Okay, I want to remove the location column, all of this information I want to remove from the location column. Okay, so for that what can I do? Suppose I take the another variable, for that take the variable, suppose data, you can use any variable name data. In this variable I want to remove all of those column from the final data. So for that I can simply use a function select function. Okay, select is mainly working for the column and subset is mainly working for the row. So I simply call user the select and call your data frame. My data frame is the final data. Okay, because from the final data I want to remove the location column. So call the final data and then use the minus sign. After the minus sign, your column name, which column you want to remove. So put here the location. Okay, so now click to the run and also print the data. So print the data and click to the run. So in this time you can see there is the no location column, it not added in here. Suppose you want to remove the roll column, just simply use at the roll, click to the and also print that. So in this time you can see there is a no column about the roll. So this is the process using the subset and select. Okay, how when you want to remove the row, then use at this subset, and when you want to remove the column, then use at the select. And subset and select both of function come from this dflyr package.
If we did remove, for example, a row and the student name, we can write one by one this name, or we need to two times write code
No, we can
when
using
we
this
need to.
function, it automatically appear it. Suppose when you can get some specific, suppose this is the, there is the no data, so or some data is the missing, so we can easily select the specific matrix. So suppose a specific column and row number, and then we can easily write this information or or data and fill up this missing value also. Okay, so let's go
Okay.
discuss one by one. So in this time, okay, so just I simply go to my slide. So they remove rows and column. We talked about that. So in this time, we talk about the matrix and data frame. Okay, so what is the matrix and what is the data frame? So basically, matrix and data frame. Matrix and data frame, there is the two most important data structure in our programming language. They look the same, but they have some different nature. Okay, so in this time we talk about the matrix, how we can easily use the different types of matrix. Basically matrix and data frame is the same, but they look at the same, but it has some different nature. So matrix in R, so what is the matrix? So matrix, it is the homogeneous collection of data set. All of those data set will be homogeneous, and it arranged in two-dimensional rectangular organization. It has m multiply with n array. Okay, so dimensional. So twin, suppose m is the column, n is the row. So m is the column number, n is the row number. Column and row with similar data type.
Okay.
It's created using a vector input, and we can perform the many arithmetic operation on the R matrix like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division using the R matrix. And now matrix and data frame, they're the difference. What is the matrix and data frame? So you can see matrix is the collection of data set arranged in two-dimensional rectangular organization. It is a two-dimensional and is a collection. And you can see data frame is the store the data table. Okay, so it is a data table that contains the multiple data. Okay, so it can be multiple data, can be role, name, location, city. All of those things will be stored in the data frame as a table. And what is the matrix? Matrix mainly about the collection of data set. It is the collection of data set. On all of those data set will be homogeneous. Okay, so but in data frame we are use the data frame to contain multiple data at the same time. And matrix, it's the m into n array with similar data type. Matrix always
Okay.
m is the row and n is the m is the column, n is the row with similar data type. And data frame, it is a list of vector of equal length. It is a generalized from of matrix. So equal length means that suppose total 5 student name, 5 student CGPA, 5 students role. So all of time it will be length will be equal, and it has the fixed number of rows and column. Matrix has a fixed number of column, but it has variable number of rows and column. And the data is stored in a column can be only same data type. So all time it will be same data type, but its data frame, it can be stored at the numeric, it can be stored at the character, it can be stored at the factor. So we already create the data type and show you the integer, it will be stored at the integer data, also character, all of those things it can be stored in here. And matrix is the homogeneous, it will be collection of the homogeneous data. And also data frame is the heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means that it will be multiple data can be stored in here. So now I just simply show you the practical example about the matrix, then it will also better. So let's go. I simply open my R Studio. So matrix, how we can easily create the matrix. So matrix, suppose in this time I create the matrix of 2 rows. I want to create the matrix which have 2 row and 3 column. Okay, 2 row and 3 column. I want to create the matrix look like that. And so let's go. Suppose I want to create a variable a. In this variable I want to create the matrix. So use the matrix function. Matrix. Matrix. Okay. So now I just simply make a data set. Suppose I want to use the C. C mainly it's called the vector data type in RStudio. And I stored in here the data such as, suppose I put here this data such as 13. Then also suppose 22. Suppose I put here the 33. 44, 56, suppose put at the 90. Okay, so in this time, this data, okay, this data I want to represent as a matrix, and I want to represent this data as a which have 2 rows and 3 column, 2 rows and 3 column. Okay, so let's go how I can do that. So for that I can simply use the comma sign and define here the first of all n row, row. N row means that number of rows. Okay, in this time I put at the number of rows 2. Okay, after that I put at the n column. N column means that number of column. I want to create the 2 rows and 3 columns, so you get the 3. Okay, and now I just simply print that result. Now let's check about this result. So use the print capital A. So now I simply select both of things and then click to the run. Okay, in this time we can see it will be work. So first of all, it's showing the 1, 2, 3 column and also showing the 1, 2 row. Okay, so now it is a matrix. Which matrix has the 3 column and have 2 rows. Suppose I want to put at that, suppose put at the 3 row and 2 column. So now let's check about the matrix, how it look like. Okay, so now you can see it create the matrix, have the 2 column and have the 3 rows, because I put at the number of rows 3 and number of column 2. Okay, so this is the process for creating the matrix, and it is a lot of use for that matrix. So mainly we are using for the matrix used for the economic calculating some like GDP, gross primary production, then also PI, price per capita income. It also helpful in the study of the electrical and electronic circuit. Metrics are used in the study for that surveying. It also helps for the surveying. Okay, it also helps for the probability and statistics. Okay, so this is the process for making the matrix, and we already know about the data frame. So in the data frame, it stored the heterogeneous information. Suppose I give the another example about the data frame. Suppose I want to create the data frame. So first of all, suppose I put the variable name look like that. Suppose I create the data frame. So put here the suppose name. I take a variable name. In this, I want to store the, I can create the data frame. So for that, put here the function data dot frame. This function I put, and after that, suppose I can simply put here the suppose put here the student, suppose student ID. In the student ID, suppose they are the total 3 student, or suppose for that I simply make the vector C for the vector data type and put here the 1, 2, 3. So now it is stored the 1, 2, 3 role or student ID 1, 2, 3, and then I simply put here this suppose name student, then the another column name. Suppose student column, I simply make the another vector and put here the only for the 3. Okay, only for the 3 student name. Suppose I put this name such as Nijan. Suppose put this name and also put here the name such as. Okay, so in this time what happened, I just simply create a data student ID, name of student, and also put here the suppose another information. Suppose you can put here the another information such as suppose city or other things or any other information. Suppose I put here this city and put here the city as a vector. So C and put here the three cities. Suppose I put here the Dhaka, then put here this as suppose I put here this name as now what happened you can see. I just simply print this result. So just use here the print. I just print my it's my name. Simply copy the variable name and paste. So now I simply print that all of those things. So now you can say I can get the result. Okay. So in this time I can get the data frame. Okay. So data frame mainly contains lot of variable, lot of data collection. In this time you can see first it is a number. Okay. So it's also string. It also is string. But matrix is only stored the homogeneous data collection. Suppose it can be only for the number, it can be only for the character. Okay. So in this time you can get the data frame, and there are a lot of use from the data frame. Data frame can do lot of works like the fit statistics formulas, also processing the data, transpose possible, changing the rows column, vice versa. And there's a lot of useful in the data science. There's a lot of use in data science. We're using here that data frame also. Okay, so now we talk about the data frame operators, how we can easily use the data frame for the different types of work. So for let's go, just I open my slide. So data frame operation in R, how we can easily use the different types of operation in R, we discuss about that. So data frames are the generic data object of R which are used to store the tabular data. Okay, so when you want to make the tabular data, we need to use the data frame function, and we are also creating the data frame using the data frame function. We are also creating the data frame using from the CSV file format. Suppose you have a CSV file, you can easily import the CSV file in RStudio and work with as a data frame. Or creating the data frame using the data.frame using this function. And when you use the creating the data frame using suppose CSV file, then we are using the read.csv and mention your the file name. Okay, so now we discuss about the two things about the data frame and read.csv data frame, how we can easily do that. So let's go. Just I simply open my RStudio. Okay, so we already discussed about the data frame. It's very easy. Okay, just I also give the another example. Suppose I take a variable. Suppose I put the variable name is the name. In this variable I stored it my name. Suppose I as a vector, which is character vector. So I put the name such as just I simply take some name. Okay, suppose you can see this one kind of data. Okay, it is stored the variable name is that name. I print that, I can get the result. You can see all of this name I can get in here. Suppose I take the another variable. Suppose I put the variable name is that suppose I put the variable name is the suppose city. I take the vector, and in this city I want to store all of those things such as I put here that city such as suppose suppose I put the some city's name, and then click to the run and print that variable name city. So now click to the run, I can get all of those cities. So one is the name, another is the city. Suppose I put the another thing is that about that. Suppose I put the variable name such as suppose ID. Okay, just I put the ID. So put here this ID from suppose I put here this ID. Suppose total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want, you can write here that directly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can write this way, or if you want, you can also just simply suppose I show the result first. Suppose I simply print the ID also. So print this ID. So it will be showing the 1, 2, 4, 5. If you want, you can also use here the another thing. Suppose you can simply put here the 1 and then put here the suppose 5. Okay. Now print that, I can get the
Okay.
same result 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So basically it is the showing as a sequence 1 to 5, or you can directly put 1 to 5. So now you can see here I can get the another thing is the name, another thing I can get the city, another thing I can get the ID. Okay. It's not a tabular form, it's totally showing as a list of the name, list of the city, list of the ID. So now use the name, city and ID. That's the three column I want to make a tabular form. So how I can do that? It's very easy. Just you can simply take a variable name. Suppose put the variable name is the TF, DF. You can use any variable name. Then call your data dot frame. Okay. After that, simply just copy the variable name, and paste. Paste. Then use at the comma. Then copy the variable name city and paste. Then copy the variable name of ID and paste. So now all of those lists convert as a tabular form. So just you can simply paste here and click to the run and then simply print that. So print df. So now let's check the result. We can get all of those lists
Yes.
convert as a tabular format. Okay, so it is the one kind of application using the data frame. As well as we can also import it directly CSV file in our code editor. We can simply import our CSV file format. So how I can do that? So I will show you the practical example. So for that, I can simply create a file. So in this time, you can see here, okay, so I see, okay, there is a no file about the CSV file format in here. Yeah, I just create a Excel file. So show you the practically. So just I simply show my direct, okay, you can see, okay, so documents. Okay, so in this time, all of this file, you can studio, this file directory, it's including in the documents file. Okay, so all of those file I can find in the documents. So in the documents, I just simply create a Excel file. Then it also better. Just in the document, I simply create a Excel file. So I simply go to the documents folder. Okay, so just I simply go to my documents folder. So documents, and in this documents folder, I simply create an Excel file. Suppose I create in here and put this Excel, and I put this Excel file name suppose as a data set. Okay, so in this data set, I simply open the Excel file first and write some column or an information or Excel file. I simply show you that practically how we can easily import the Excel file. Suppose in this Excel file, I simply write the column name is that ID, then put here the name, then put here the suppose city or a lot of other information. So just I put the ID suppose 1, suppose 1. Okay. Suppose I put here the 2 also. So now I just select that things and then it will be increasing one by one. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Suppose okay. I put this total 7. And I suppose I put here this name such as randomly I put the name. Okay, so again. Okay, just want to put the city's name. Suppose I put the city. Just I randomly put this all of this name. Suppose as you can also put here this suppose number. Suppose I put the number is that 80, 25, 22, 90, 58, 60, or 70. Okay, suppose this is my data set. Okay, this is my data set in Excel file. So first of all, this data set I need to save into Excel file. So for that, I simply click on the file and save as. I save into the documents folder and save as the Excel file. You can CSV file. You can see CSV. Simply select the CSV and then
Oh yeah.
save it. So now this file is saved into the CSV file format. And now I simply go to my RStudio and then simply refresh. I refresh it and then find out my file name. You can see I created in here. So data set, you can see this file I created. Okay. So now this file I want to import in my RStudio code editor and then work using the suppose all of those things we can easily work for that. Which I already show you the data frame. Suppose you can see this type of work. Suppose you want to remove the column name, you want to str. So mainly it provide the information about your object. Summary, it calculated the mean, max, median, coordinate. Okay. So this type of information which I add in here, we also get the same tax. Okay. All of the things, same tax we can also do using the Excel file also. Okay. So now how I can
And we
yeah,
we
please,
on,
please.
yeah, we only change name of file in this code, and we can work with all this function in this table. Yes.
Yes. Suppose in this time,
Okay.
I just simply take a new variable. Suppose I put the variable is a new, suppose new df. Take the variable name new df. In this variable, I just store the data set in Excel file data set. So I use a function, this function called the read.csv. Okay, and then I simply you can check the file name is the dataset.csv. Okay, so just put here the file name data, sorry, all of the uppercase dataset.csv. Okay, so now this csv file is stored in here new df. Okay, so now click to the run, we check about the result, there is no problem. Okay, so in the meantime this dataset successfully imported in my RStudio.
Okay.
Okay, so now I want to show the tabular from. Okay, so for that what can I do? Just simply use the print function, print new df. It already showing in here, you can see. So you can see this is my data set. Okay, which come from the Excel file or CSV file. So now print that. Okay, so okay, it is a lowercase f. So use the lowercase f and now click to the run. Yes, I can get the data, but this data come from CSV file format. Okay, so now we want to check about the structure. So what can you do? Just use the str function. So just use the print str and then call your dataset name new df. Okay, now click to the run. In this time I can get the structure for my dataset. Here I can get total 7 object, 4 variable. Okay, one variable is the id. Id is mainly integer. Okay, I can get the integer id. Name is the character. City is the character. Number is the character. So now you want to use that. Suppose I want to show about that summary of my data set. So what can I do? Just use that the summary function. So just use that the print and use that the summary function, summary, and then your dataset name is the new df. Simply copy that and paste and click to the run. In this time I can get the summary. So mainly it's showing the summary. You can see minimum number is the 22. In my Excel file, I can put here the minimum number is the 22. You can check the 22. Okay, I can easily get that
Yeah.
22. As well as we can check the maximum number is that maximum is the 90. And the mean or average is the 57. And median 60. First quadrant 41, third quadrant 75. I can get the result about the
Okay.
data set. So in this time, suppose I also print the data set, print the new df. This data set, suppose I want to add here the new column, or I also want to remove the one row, okay, which I already show you in the previous code in here, how we can easily add a layer, or how we can easily add the remove the layer. Suppose you can see
Yes. Yes.
remove the row or remove the column, same. Okay, same.
The
Because
same process.
same process we
Okay.
need to apply on the data set. Okay, so this is the process how we can easily import the CSV file format and work with that. Okay, so suppose you have the lot of data set in Excel file, then you want to easily work with that. Okay, okay, so I hope you guys
Mijan,
understand. Yeah, please.
for example, maybe we will discuss in the next class, but I want to ask you.
Yeah.
For example, we create a land use land cover map in Google Earth Engine,
Yeah.
and we want to import the how. Oh my God, I forget these words. And this map have a table of our value, our attribute table, and we have attribute table for this map, and we can download attribute table from Google Earth Engine, and after that we do import this table as a CV file in
Yeah.
R, and we can make some operation with this table. Yes.
Yeah, so it's also possible to do that. About that, we can easily download the attribute table from here, and all of those things we can easily get from the RStudio program, such as all of those information, all of those area, how much area will be available for this region, all of those things we can easily download as a tabular format in here. Okay, okay.
And you can we will discuss this for other next class.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we also try to discuss about
Okay.
the
Okay.
next further class. There is no problem. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now in this time we can get the result look like that. So in this time, suppose I imported the CSV file format, and also read.csv, this function is mainly help you for importing the data about that. Okay, so in this time, how we can easily accessing the rows and column. Okay, suppose I go to my slide and show you the example. Suppose in this time I talk about that how we can easily accessing the rows and column. The syntax of the accessing rows and columns in I can see. So mainly you can see this is your data frame. In the data frame here I can get the VL1 and VL2. So in this DF means the data frame object, and it is the row of the data frame. VL1 is the row of the data frame, and VL2 is the column of the data frame. Okay, so this VL1 and VL2 can be array values such as one. Suppose it can be 1 is to 2 or 2 colon 3. So this type of array. So in this time, I show you that how we can easily accessing the specific row and column from my data frame. So in this time, suppose in my RStudio, here I can get the data set about that look like that data set we can get in here. Suppose here I can get the data set. This is my data set, and from this data set, I want to accessing the first and second row. Okay, first and second row I just access. So first and second row, how I can easily access in here. So for that I need to use a function. So just I simply use that the print. I put here the call my dataset name new df. This is my dataset name, and paste here. From this dataset I want to accessing only for the first and second row. So just I put here this sign, and put here the one first and then second. Okay, so now I just need to use here the comma sign after that. So now click to the run. Yeah, so now I can see it's only showing the result first and second row. Okay, when I put at the 1 and 2, suppose I need the first, and suppose I put at this, suppose 3, then check the result. We can see. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, first, second, third. Suppose you want to show only for that all of, suppose 4. So now it's showing the all of those 1 to 4, all of those things showing in here 1 to 4. So this is the process how we can easily accessing the specific row and column, as well as suppose you want to access in the first and second column. So in this time it discuss about the row, and now I am to accessing the first and second column. So you can see when I 1 and 2 it showing about the row. Okay, first and second row. Okay, but I want to show only for the column, first and second column, ID and name column, and city and number I don't need. So then what can I do for that? So just I simply use the comma sign in the start part, then it's showing for the first and second column, and when I put the comma in the last part, then it's showing the only for the row. So now let's check. Just I simply copy the same, copy, and then change the comma. So this comma sign I put the first phase, just put here the first. Okay, so now it's showing the first and second column. So let's check. Yeah, first column and second column. Okay, suppose I put here the another, suppose 3. So now it's showing the first, second and third column. Okay, first, second and third column. So this is the process how we can easily accessing the specific row and column on the data set.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so now we talk about that selecting the subset data frame. Subset of a data frame can also be created based on the certain condition with the help of syntax. So in this time, suppose here I can get a data set. Here I can, okay, so I just simply print my data set. Just I simply run that. So yeah, so now I print the CSV file data set. So simply print that result. So I can get the data frame look like that. In this time, from this data set, I want to select only for those data with a specific condition. Okay, suppose I in this time selecting the subset of the data frame where the name is equal to, suppose where the name is equal to suppose make. Okay, where the name equal to make, I want to select this name. Okay, so for that it also applying the specific selection. Okay, so for that I just simply create a variable. So in this data set I want to select the name. Suppose I want to select this name, and also select is greater than 60. Okay, using this condition I select. Okay, so basically in this time I show you that. So just simply take a variable. Suppose I put the variable name is that, suppose new df. I put the variable name, and in this variable I simply use the subset. Okay, subset is a function. It come from the diff layer package subset, and then call my dataset name new df. You can see this is my dataset name, which I imported from the Excel file. New df, I simply paste in here. From this dataset, I choose a name column. So I choose the name column. So this is my name column. I choose the name column. So this name and so equal. So in this time I use the equal. I choose the specific name. Suppose I put this name is that. I simply put here this name is that suppose this name. Suppose this name I simply choose. Copy and paste. Okay, and then I also use here the OR function. OR For the OR, what is the OR symbol in R? OR symbol is that this is the OR symbol. Okay, so first class I also try to discuss about the AND OR this function. So OR. So I use here the OR. Or I put here this OR number suppose put a number, suppose greater than 60. Okay, so in this time when to a condition is work, so just I simply print that. So you can simply print, so print that. I simply copy the variable name, new df, simply copy and paste. So now click to the run. So click to the run and also click to the run. Okay, so in this time what happened, you can see in this time greater than 60, all of those number display in here and also their information, okay, from the data set. So in this time, suppose in this time I use here the number greater than 60, okay, and all of those things stored in here. Suppose I put here the number greater than suppose 80. So now you can see what the type of result I can get in here. So in this time only greater than 80, all of those results come from in here. Okay, suppose I put here the number greater than suppose 20, suppose put here the 60 or put here the 75, click to the run. In this time all of those 75 number greater than result will be appearing in here. So just print that. You can see all of those greater than 75, all of those results come in here. So basically this is the process how we can easily select a using a condition. In this time I put the condition greater than 75, all of those name I want to display, all of this information I need which are greater than 75. So just I use the 75 and then put, I can get all of this information in here. So in this time you can see, in this time it's showing is the 60, but even this name is also showing in here because I also set the another condition. So in this time name equal name or number greater than 75. When these two condition is worked, then it will be display the result, or any one condition. In this time both of condition is worked, so that's why it display this name. Okay, because in the name it find out the make, so that's why showing this name in here, as well as also it's the greater than 60 is not greater than 75, even it also showing because I said the condition is that make, so that's why make is also displaying here. Okay, but when I put here the suppose in this time I put here this another example, suppose put here the another name, suppose I put here this another name such as Margia. So put here this Margia and then put here this, suppose you can see Margia is the 90, he got the number is the 90, but I can simply put here the suppose greater than 90. Okay, then check what the happened. So click to the run. I can get only for the one value is the Margia. Okay, because Margia is got the highest number in here 90. So you can check my CSV file also. So it is the highest number is that 90, and it get only for the one person. Okay, so in this time here we can get only for the one person, they can get the 90, greater than 90. So but I choose the greater than 90, but it also equal to name equal to Margia, so that's why it display the result of the Margia. So it's called about the OR function. Suppose I put here the, so put here the double and sign. So now let's check what happened. Okay, okay, so in this time you can see both of condition, and is mainly when work, and is work when the one both of condition is the true. Okay, both of condition when true, then and is work. In this time and is not work because here the number greater than 90 is not available in my CSV file format. Okay, so one condition is wrong, so that's why it will be not showing the result. Suppose I put here that suppose 60. Now check what happened. Okay, so in this time you can see both of condition is the right. Okay, because in this list Marja name is available, as well as 6 greater than 60, this value is also available. So both of condition is the okay, so that's why I can get the result in here. Okay, and so it's also very important for the and, then also or, and how it will be worked. So and or, this type of function we are mainly used for the comparison. Okay, suppose in this data set
Okay.
when you want to find out that, then we can use the comparison and or. Okay, so this is the another approach about that, how we can easily selecting the specific data frame or specific information from the data frame. Okay, so now we talk about
Okay.
the another example about that. Suppose how we can easily edit the data frame. Okay, suppose sometime you need to edit the data frame. Suppose I simply import my, okay, so new df, so this data set I simply open again. Suppose this is my data set. Okay, this is the data set. In this data set I need to editing something wrong information. Suppose I simply change the number 80. Okay, suppose I simply change the number 90. Suppose I simply change the city name. Okay, suppose I simply mistake in here, you can see it showing the wrong spelling my name, so it will be JAN. So this type of correction when I want to need, then how I can do that, for the it called the how we can easily result about that. So it's very easy for that editing the data frame. So this data frame, how I can edit or modify this data frame. So editing data frame by direct assignment, we can access the top tool component. So for that, accessing the inner label component. So okay, so let's go how we can do that. So first of all, I simply call my variable dataset variable name. So this is my dataset variable name. I simply copy and paste. Okay, so in this variable I just use here this symbol, a square bracket. In this square bracket, suppose in this time you can see, suppose I change this name. Okay, so in this time what is the it's showing the row 1 and column 1. Okay, row 1 column 1. So in this time I just show you that how we can do that. So in this time row 1 column 1. Okay, so I just simply put here the row number such as okay, so first of column number, so column is the 1 and also row is the 1. Okay, now use here the set equal to, suppose I put here the region. Okay, so now it will be changed and we can get the correct spelling. So let's check about the result. So print that. So print. Okay, it's showing the okay unexpected. Okay, 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 this symbol will be yeah, so 8 remove and also yeah. So now let's check again. Okay, so now print that. So use here the print new. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay, we have some mistake in here. You can see in this time it will be this. Suppose this I want to change it, I need to edit it. So it will be, you can see the column is the 2, 1 and 2. Column is the 2 and row is the 1. So it will be column will be 2 and row 1. So now let's check again the code. Okay, so we can get the result. You can see median in here. Okay, and I also change it about this previous one. So now I simply use this print my data set, previous one. So new div, I simply print that. So I can get the result look like that. Suppose in this time, here you can see the another information. Suppose I want to change the value. So first of all, you can see what is the column number. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 number of column. So use here the 4. And what is the row? Row is the 1. And I put here the value such as suppose 100. So now click to the run. And also run it. So now again, change, I can get the number is the 100. Okay. Suppose
okay, and like this we can fix it any problem in our data frame. Yes.
Yeah. Just simply mention it. Suppose I simply select. Suppose I change it. I put the another city name instead of the select. So how we can do? First of all, I need to find out the column number. Column is that 1, 2, 3. 3 number column. And row is the 5. So 3 and 5. So just put here the column number 3. And row is the 5. And then put your correction name. Suppose I want to show the another name such as. Suppose I put the name such as. Suppose I put the name is the Gazipur. So use this name, new name, Gazipur. So now click to the run and show the data set. You can see now it will be showing the Gazipur. Okay. So mainly just simply select the data frame, column number. First of all, column number, and then it will work. There is no problem.
This actually very useful function.
Yeah. So just use here your simply call our dataset variable name. So in this time I do all of those things using my CSV file format, data.csv file format. So simply copy this variable name and then simply use here this symbol, square bracket, and this is the column and this is the row number. Then it will be showing the result about that.
Yeah.
So in this time we can show you that how we can easily add it. How we can easily add or correction or modify for the number. So now we talk about that how suppose you need to for this have to certain instance of data frame. For example, you can see my table. Suppose in this time how I can edit my table. Okay, suppose we are using a function edit my table and it will be edited very easily. We can do that. Okay. Okay, so in this time I simply again print my data set which I can gain from the CSV file format. This is my data set. Just simply print. Okay, so it will be printed in here. Okay, so in this time add a new row using our bind function. Suppose you want to add a new row. Suppose in this time I want to add another row, 8 number row I want to add in here. So how I can do that? For add a new row. So we already know about the how we can easily add a column. Okay, in this time we talk about the add a new row. So I just write the column, add a new. Suppose I want to add a new row. So for adding a new row, we need to use a function. This function called the rbind function. Okay, so in this rbind function, what can I do? First of all, take a variable name. Suppose I put the variable name is the data set. Okay, data set. This is my variable name. In this time I want to add a new row in data frame. Okay, so for that I simply use a function rbind function. So r means row, bind means that it make the new row. Okay, so in this time first of all I call my data set. So my data set name is that you can see my data set name is the new df. Okay, which are CSV file I already imported in here. I call the new df and paste here. Okay, after that use the comma sign and use the function data frame function, data dot frame. This function I use. In this time I want to add a new row which consists of id, name, city and number. So just I put the information such as I put the name, first of all id. I put the id is that suppose id is the 8. Suppose then I put here that name. Suppose I put the name is that suppose Mijanur. Suppose I put the another information such as city. So use here the city. Suppose I put the city name as a Frankfurt. After that, I simply put here the another thing is that suppose number. So use here the number equal. Suppose I put the number is that suppose 85. Okay. So in this time, I click to the run and then simply print the new data set which I added a new row. So use here the data set. So now print that. You can see this time it's added a new row. Okay. So mainly,
But if we want to edit, for example, more data set, for example, edit more 10 data set, we need to write every time data set 1, data set 2, data set 3.
yeah. Okay. So when you want to do for the separately, then you have to suppose you want to add the another data set. For that, in this time, you want to also make the list in here. Suppose you want to make the ID from here. Suppose I put the ID, so make the C vector and put here the suppose 8 to suppose 10. Okay, 8 to 10, and also make the C in here and put the another also name. Suppose I put the name such as suppose I put here the suppose I put here this suppose another name, and also put the another name, because in this time 8 9 10 total 3 data, total 3 new row I want to add in here. Okay, so put here this suppose this name, and also need here the 3 city name. Okay, because I want to add the total 3 new row. So put the name such as I also put the another row such as suppose. Okay, and after that we also need to information about the number, about the 3 numbers. So use here the C and put here the 3 numbers. Suppose 85, suppose 80, suppose put here the 90.
Okay.
So now click to the run. Okay, just I run it. Okay, so new data. It's showing the okay, so it's showing the error unexpected symbol in data frame. Okay, Arvine. Okay. So mainly this Arvine, this function is only work for the single row. Okay, so I think for the multiple row we have to use the another way. Okay, just a minute, I will show you.
Okay.
So it only work for the single row. When you want to do for the single row information, then it will work. Okay, suppose I want
Single
to add
row.
a single row, then it will work very well. Yeah, in this time it will work. For the when you want to multiple row, then I have need to use the another function, I think, for that available for showing the suppose you want to add the multiple function, multiple row at the same time. It also possible, I'm thinking. Yeah, so in this time we talk about that. Suppose you want to add another you want to add the extra column. Okay, so for the add a suppose add a extra column. Okay, extra column. For the row we need to use here the rbind function, and for the column we need to use here the cbind function. Okay, cbind function. So for the cbind function, how we can easily do that? So for that we can simply use here added a new column. Suppose I want to add a new column. Suppose in this time I want to put the another column in here. In this column I want to add here about the suppose ranked. So for that, how we can do? Suppose I put here the new data set. You can use anything. So new data set, and this data set I need to use I want to add a new column. So use the cbind function. Cbind. In this function, first of all I need to call my data set name. So I can get the data set name in here. You can see. Okay. Yeah. So this is my data set new df, which I imported from the Excel file. Simply import that. Copy that. And paste. Okay, new df, and after that use here the comma sign, and which column you want to add in here. Just write this column name. Suppose I put the column name, such as suppose I put the column name such as a rank. Okay, I want to add the rank. So then put here the equal sign and then use the vector all of those ranks. Suppose I put the rank such as total 8 data in here. So I put the column name such as suppose 10. I put the rank suppose 10, 5 rank, put here the 7, 6, 7, then put here the 8, then put here the suppose 4, then put here that suppose 6. Okay, so how much the, okay, also put here the suppose 5 and 6, 9. Okay, so here you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now it will be added in here. So now I simply click to the run. What happened? Yeah. Okay, so I use here the cbind function and call my data set, and then use here the rank. I added a new column as a rank. Okay. Here in data frame, yeah. Okay, just I simply print my data frame again. So this is my data frame. I simply print that data frame. Okay, in this data frame, I want to add a new column. So use here the cbind function. So new div, this is my data name, and put the column name which I want to add in here. Okay, rank. There is no problem. Okay, let's check. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I try to add the another thing. Suppose I put here this rank such as a string, then check about that result. Suppose put here that people. Suppose put here that doctor. Suppose put here that engineer. Yes. List. Let's suppose I simply add this rank. Look at it. So now, okay. We're gonna print that only one rank, then check new data set. Yeah, so all of those things we check about the principal only for the same rank about that. So now how I can add the different for that? Suppose I want to add here only for that, suppose 5, and now click to run. All of those things will be at the 5. Okay.
But if you want to add some other or we can do this.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do this
Okay,
as
so
a
in this time I think
column.
okay. So in this time new div, Okay, so new DApp, yeah, so it changed the name, there is no problem. Just I simply, okay, so just I simply copy these two things from here and paste here. Okay. So now this is my first line of code. I import my Excel file, then print my data set. I want to add the rank in here. Okay, it's not work. Argument the implement the different numbers of rows. 752. Okay, so we also try to import the library about that. So, library dplyr again. Okay, so I checked the about the later about that how you can easily add the different value in the same data frame. Okay,
Okay.
so for that, okay, I'll check about it. Okay, so now I talk about the another thing is that how we can easily work for that library. Okay, so deploy library already discussed about that library. So okay, so let's go. Just I simply share my slide. Yeah. So okay. So in this time we talk about the data frame manipulation, how we can easily manipulate the data set, about the different types of manipulation, and also show the result about the data frame. Okay. So let's go. So in this time, here I can show the data frame. I can get the data frame look like that. So in this time, from this data set, suppose I want to delete the third row and the second column. Okay, third row and second column. Okay, from this I want to calculate the third row. So this is the third number of row. Okay, and also and the second column. So this is the first and second column. Okay, the third row and second column I want to remove from this data set. So how I can do that? So very easy. Just I simply take a variable. Suppose I put the variable name is the new. Suppose new data. Okay. In this time, this new data I simply call my data set name new df. Okay. And now I want to delete. How I want to delete the third row. So use there the -3. Okay, and second column, so use there the -2. Okay, just minus, then simply print that. So I run the code, run, and also print. So print the result, simply copy, and then click to the run. In this time you can see it removing the third row and second column will be removed from here. Okay, so just
Okay.
simply set
Yes.
the minus your row number and your column number, third row and second column, then it will be removed from here.
Okay.
Okay, so this type of operation we can do using the data frame, as well as we are also do for the data manipulation. Okay, so mainly data manipulation, we are working for the data manipulation, how we can work with the data manipulation. So first of all, rename function. Suppose when you want to renaming the column number for the we are also talking about that. Suppose how we can easily renaming the column number. Suppose here I can get my data set. You can see. Okay, so I simply print my data set, new df data set. I can get the data set look like that. So now I want to rename. Suppose this city, it is a column name. Okay, this name I want to change as a location. Okay, so I change the column name. How I can change the column name? In this time I talk about that. for changing the column name, we need to use a function, this function called the plyr function. Okay, so in this time I simply import the function. So I simply take a variable, suppose df. In this variable I just simply add a library. Suppose I put the library name is the plyr. Okay, so now it will be stored in this here. So now I just creating a data frame, or if you did not take any types of variable, just simply put the library and put here the plyr. Okay, there is no problem, it will import it, there is no problem. So now creating a data frame, suppose I want to create the data frame, new data frame I want to create. So for that I simply use here the df, and then I create a data frame. So use here the data dot frame, this function I simply use. And then in this data frame I simply put here the suppose I put in this data frame I put here the row. Suppose I put the row number is the 0 to, okay, I put this look like that. Okay, and then put here that row, row w row. And now I just simply print the data frame. I put here this equal to run. Okay, it's not run. Row, okay, I also need in here, so it also in here. So row, I just simply use here a function, print function. Just use here the print df. So I put the example from here just. So I put new data set. In this time I already created the data frame. Okay, this is my data frame. Okay, so now from this data frame I want to change the row number. Okay, row number means the column number. So for that, renaming the data frame, so first of all we have to use a function. This function is called the rename function. So use the rename function. Okay, rename function, and then call my dataset name. Dataset is the new df dataset. I simply copy and paste. Okay, in this time I use a function in here, suppose c, and in this c I simply use here the row. So in this time, suppose I put here this suppose id. So simply copy and paste here this id. Suppose in this time id I can change the id. Suppose I put the name such as the role. Okay, and then suppose I also change about the another thing is that suppose this name I also change the column name. Suppose this name I want to change the name as that. I change it as a, suppose I put the name such as student name. Student name. Okay, so as well as suppose you want to change about that another thing is that suppose city, I change the city name as a such as a suppose location. Okay, and then finally suppose I want to show the number, I want to change the number as a, suppose put this name column name as a suppose result. Okay, so in this time what happened, so I use the rename function. I want to rename this data frame. This is my data frame, and then use the c, and in this time I simply put here the id showing the role, name showing the student name, city showing the location, number showing the result. Okay, so now rename it. Okay. In this time you can see it will rename. Okay, all of this column will be renamed. So in this time showing the role, student name, then location and result. Okay, just use the rename function, and then you call your data set new df. So this is my data set new df. Then use the c, and then put here the id, role, then which name you want to put in here, just simply write this name. It will be working for changing the column name.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now we also tried, it's also called the data manipulation, how you can do, as well as we can also adding the column to the data frame. We already discussed about that, how we can easily edit the column about the data frame. Okay, so you also try to practice these things as well as, okay, so I have
Okay.
to select my slide. And it's very important about that joining data frame, how we can easily join the data frame. Suppose you have the two CSV file format and we have to sum two data frame. So now you have to join this
Okay.
type of data frame. How we can easily joining the data frame in our studio. In this time I talk about that. So let's suppose you have the two data frame. So now this data frame you have to add and make a one data frame or one tabular sheet about that. Okay, so for that I simply show you the practical example. So mainly joining, we can get the total all of those types in our studio: natural join or inner join, left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, cross join, semi join, and empty join. So this type of join we can do in our studio program. So all of those things I also try to show you that. So let's go. So just I simply open my slide, our studio for it. Yeah. Yeah. So in this time, first of all, for showing the joining, first of all, I need to create the data frame. Okay. Suppose different data frame I need to create in here. Okay. So for that, I can simply work with the data frame. Suppose I simply take a variable. Suppose I create the data frame or data set one. Okay. In this time, I simply create a data frame. So use here the data dot frame, and then I simply create the data frame. I put the column name. Suppose I put the one column name is that, suppose student ID. So I put the student ID name such as equal sign, and put here the C vector, and put the student ID such as, I simply put the student ID such as 301 to suppose 306. Okay, the student ID. I put this student ID and use the comma sign. And then suppose I put here this another thing is that suppose city. So city means that where they live. So I put the another column city. Suppose I put the city such as total 6 student. So I put here the total 6 city in here. Such as I put the city such as Dhaka. And put here the suppose Mirpur. Suppose put here the another city, Rangpur. Parishal. So also put here the success. The total 3, 6. Okay. I also mentioned the 3, 6. Again, in this time, I can simply just run the code and then print. So just use the print the data frame 1. Okay. So now click on, I can see I create the one data frame.
Yeah.
Such as I also create the another data frame for show you the practical example. Suppose I take the another data frame. So data frame suppose 2. Okay. In this data frame, I just create the another data frame. So data frame, I use the data frame function, data frame, and put the such as, I simply put this such as, another thing is I simply put here that suppose ID. So in this ID, I just simply put here the ID such as from suppose C 1 to 6. I put the ID name, as well as I also put here that ID, and then also put the another column such as, I simply put here that suppose
Name.
name. Yeah, so put here the name. Suppose I put here the name, and see here I simply put the name, their ID suppose
It's the same process as we have,
Excel
for
file or
example, two
CSV file.
table. In,
Yeah, same. Suppose you
we
have
have
the
two
two
Excel
separate
file.
Excel
The
file or CSV file, mainly CSV file. This Excel file convert into the CSV file. So you have the two CSV
Yeah,
file,
yeah.
suppose different data frame, just the same approach we can also do for that. There is no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so just I simply take the name. Okay, so I take the name and then I simply print this data frame. Suppose use at the print this data frame to data frame 2, and then simply click to the run and also click. So now I can get the two data frame in here. So now these two data
Okay.
frame I need to merge or combine. Okay, so for that, how I can do that? So for that, I can simply combine it. So R programming to illustrate joining of data frame to separate data frame, how I can joining. Suppose I simply put this name, suppose df,
Okay.
another variable name, and use a function merge, okay, for the merge. And then
Merge.
I take a variable name, suppose x equal, I simply call my suppose data frame 1, simply copy and paste here, and also take the another thing is that y equal data frame 2 and paste here. Okay, after that I need to mention here, I need to combine which things I need to use in here. For the two things I need to use in here, so in this time, okay, so in this time one column will be same. Okay, suppose one column will be same. Suppose in this time I just simply use here the same column, my id and student id, these two column will be same. So mainly when you want to make this combination of the two column, then we have to one column will be same. So just in this time you have to mention about your same column name. Okay,
Okay.
so in this time here I can get the student id, and another column I have also need to the student id. So in this time I can simply use here the same thing, suppose student id, and also put here this column name is the student id. Okay, so it also march according to the student id, and also put here the same student id. Suppose it also start from the 301 to 306. Okay, so now I just click run the code again. I can get this data frame in here. So just I simply merge. So how can merge? Simply use the merge function and call the x equal to data frame 1, x data frame 2, and then you have also need to use the another thing is that which column you want to use as a common column. Okay, so use the by, I want to merge according to the student id column. Okay, so one column will be same both of 5, so student id. So I simply
Okay.
copy the student id and use at this student id column name. So now click to the run and also print the df. So now it's merged. Okay, so in this
Okay.
time it called the natural merge. So mainly when you want to make the natural, so one column has a common. Okay, so in this time
Okay.
student id, it is a common
Understand.
column, it's both of dataset is available for the common column. So using this common column we can just use here the merge function and make the merge all of those things easily. Okay, so as well
Okay.
as we are also do for the another thing is the left outer join. So it's called the natural join, we talk only for that natural join, and now we talk about that
Okay.
left outer join and how it will be work. So left outer join is a basically to include all the rows of your data frame x and all of those rows all of those from y that mess. In this we actually specify the argument x equal to true. So in this time we can simply use here just for outer join. So same thing, that's I simply copy and then paste. And in this time, I just use here that student ID. After that, use here the comma sign and use here the all dot x. Okay, and equal to true. It is all of those things the uppercase. T-R-U-E, true. So now what happen, you can see click to the run and also run. In this time, it's showing as a outer, left outer join. Okay, so mainly left outer join is a include all the rows of your data frame. Include all of those
But
rows on your data frame.
yeah, understand, because for example, in data frame 2 we have also student ID,
Yeah.
but if we change it, for example, I don't know, year, for example, year, it also edit this in this it's also merge.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
also need to common one common.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So and then when you want to do for that, suppose in this time, I can simply right outer join. What is the right outer join? Right outer join is basically include all the rows of your data frame y and only those from x that match in this. So for that you have to use at the all and use at the, in this time use at the y. Okay, y.
Okay.
So then we can get the look like that for the outer join.
Okay.
And now it displaying the complete set of y. So now after that, full outer join. What is the full outer join? For showing the full outer join, in this time, full outer join is basically used to keep all rows from both data frame. Okay, for that when you want to full, just remove the y and use at the all equal to true. Then it take the full data set, full data frame. Okay, now click to the run and click to the okay. So now we can get the full data frame, and it's we can say that we are actually performing the unique option when you do the full data frame. Okay, as well as also the cross join. So cross join is mainly working for that. Suppose cross join is also known as the Cartesian join. Okay, Cartesian join result in every row of one data frame is being joined to every other row of another data frame in set theory. So for this time we can simply use a function. It's called the just we can simply use here this by. We have to use here the by null. Okay, so all of them will be removed. Just use here the by null function. Okay. In this time,
Okay.
it's showing that it's called the cross join. Cross join also known as the Cartesian join. In every row of one data frame is being joined to every other row of another data frame. Okay. In set theory, this type of join is also known as the Cartesian product between two set. Between two set, in this time we can get the result look like that. Yeah, you can see.
Okay.
Okay. So then finally we talk about the another thing is that after cross join.
And yes, as we have, for example, 2 or 3 data set as a table, we only change name of, for example, data frame 2, data frame, and name this as name our table. Yes, and
yes.
all manipulations the same.
Yeah, manipulate the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this semi-join. What is a semi-join? Semi-join is somewhat like inner join with only the left data frame column and values are selected. Okay. So for the doing the semi-join, we can simply use here the semi-join function. So for the semi-join, you can see the function about the semi-join. So take a variable such as df. Yep. And then talk about the df1. In this time data frame, 1. So data frame 1. And then use here this percentage. Okay. Then use a function semi join with data frame 2. So call the data frame 2 and paste here. Okay. Then you can simply set your by, suppose in this time by student ID. It is a common column. So simply copy that, paste. So now click to the run and also print the df. So now you can get in this time semi-join result. Semi-join result, in this time it displays the semi-join result. Okay. So semi-join, it's mainly showing the result like the inner join, okay, or natural join with only the left data frame columns and values are selected. Okay, it is semi-join.
Okay.
And after that, we are also doing for the another thing is the anti-join. So for mainly doing for the anti-join, just we have to anti-join, just use at the anti-join function. Okay, just use at the anti-join. So use at the anti-join. So now you can get the result. You can see look like that. Okay, so in this time it's showing the zero length. Okay, row names. So okay, df1. So data frame 1. Anti-join with df data frame 2 by student ID. Okay, so I think in this time this data set is not available to do for the anti-join. So we are using at the semi-join. Okay, use at the semi-join and click on, I can get the result in this time. Okay, for that.
Okay, it depends maybe of our data.
So anti-join in the set theory, we can say the anti-join as the difference operation. For example, for suppose a set theory, a equal to 1 2 3 4 and b equal to 2 3 5, then output a minus b. Okay, a minus b, we can get that suppose 1 and 4. Okay, so it is the anti-set, mainly it is the set theory, and we can difference operation about that data frame. Okay, so this is the process about the data manipulation. Okay, so and also metrics about that. So we are also do all of those things also for that Excel file or CSV file. So today I also summary about my lecture. So basically today I discussed about that data frame, how we can easily create the data frame using the data frame function, as well as also using the Excel file through the CSV file format, and different types of data frame of version. We try to discuss about that. Okay, so I send you all of those today's practice code for your practice. You also try to practice about the data frame, and face any problem, any issue, just let me know. Then we also try to discuss about this problem, and also send you the recorded video class, so you also try to practice. And for the next class, we also try to discuss about the more data graphical representation for creating the different types of graphical chart, how we can easily use the Google RStudio program and make this type of chart. I also try to discuss about that. So I hope it also helpful for it. Yeah. Then move to the machine learning and about that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a lot of information to learn, and I will try to learn this for our next class. Thank you very much for this lecture.
Okay, have a good day. Okay, bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye bye. See you later.
Okay, bye.